Hey everybody, Kyle, not your average finance guy. Want to talk to you a little bit about today about imagine. What would you do? Just seriously imagine if you didn't have any more payments. You ever think about that? So I got a little sheet for you here. Let's look at this. List all your debts, the minimum payments, and the interest rates. Okay. So over here on the left, go ahead and fill this out. Take a screenshot. I've got this on my website. Totally free, and take a look at this. List everything out. Think of everything you've got. I've got one example over here on the right that I help someone look at or help someone do, and the way this went, they're not out of debt yet, but we came up with a plan, and I'll show you that here next. But look at all this debt. Okay, all these payments. They got a nice mortgage payment. They got 2 car payments. And then I got all this credit card payments. Okay, total in all, almost $420,000 of debt. Okay, $5,131 in monthly payments. Now they have a pretty good income here, but this is this example. But just take a second and seriously think about what would you do if you didn't have debts. So like in this example, $5,000 of debt every month, of debt payments, and all this stuff has already been bought. A lot of it's credit card debts. I'm sure they have no idea what it was that they bought and racked up all this credit card debt. But what would you do? I mean, would you give more? Is there a charity that you is near and dear to your heart? Would you help your kids? Would you buy a new house for your parents? What would you do if you didn't have any payments? Just take a long, hard thought and think about that, about what it is that you're capable of. I mean, so many of us are just saddled with all these debt payments that we could do so much more. So just kind of wanted to talk to you about that today, and go through this example about what this couple could do in a very short period of time. So let's bring this is kind of a spreadsheet I put together for them here. This spreadsheet, if you've seen some of my other videos, if you've seen some of my other videos, I kind of go in depth to detail how I get here. Done some on the whiteboard. I've done some other ways, but I just I'm a kind of a spreadsheet geek, so I made this spreadsheet up, and it just helps to copy and paste, and you can it does the math for you a lot quicker. Yeah, the math is all super simple, but this just kind of calculates it for you. So I don't want to lose anyone here, so I'm just going to go through what this is. These were all of their debt payments here that they were looking at, that we listed out. Remember, $5,131 a month. They've got a nice income, this couple, $11,240. And then so they also, these are their debts over here, but they did put some of those in with their expenses here. All their credit cards at $1,346. So that's all of this right here added up, and then spreadsheet Excel will add that up for you. So they put that in there. So electric, internet, phones, auto insurance, car payments. They got another property loan. They didn't list that, so we could probably even knock that out, but I don't really know what this is. But this is what they gave me. So we've got our income, and we've got $9,000 of expenses, which leaves $2,127 every month in positive cash flow, which is awesome. That's really good, especially while they've got all this credit card debt. We're gonna get them out of this real quick. So these are real nice to see. Their home value is they thought right around $465,000. 80% of that, so all it is it's 465 times 0.8 comes up with 372,000. And then the mortgage balance, what they owe to the bank, they said it was 324,510, and then that tells you 80% of your home value minus what you owe is about what you should be able to qualify for a home equity line of credit. Some places will give you 90%, up to 90%, but 80% is pretty reasonable. It's conservative side, so I just do that. They'll have to go talk with their banks and go try to find a home equity line of credit. Hopefully they can get 80% with check writing capabilities for at least 10-year draw period. That's kind of what we want. I've got a whole video on just the HELOCs if you want to go check that out. Okay, so getting in here to all their credit cards and all their expenses. So doing velocity banking, what we did here is I just plugged this right into the spreadsheet. So what I did is I took everything in gray, all this stuff, and we're going to say, boom, we're going to knock that out, okay? So in doing that, we got to add up all of these balances owed, and you see how simple this is. That's $30,366. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer from our home equity line of credit $30,366. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pay all of those off. So all of those, the debt has been transferred now to our home equity line of credit, which means we no longer have to make these minimum payments. All right, but instead of just taking that and going to the bar and just blowing it, we're going to take that money like we were always doing, and we're always making our minimum payments, and we're going to continue to we're going to add all that, and we're going to pay towards our home equity line of credit. So now our expenses, which were $9,000, when you take all of these payments away, our expenses go down to $7,767. Okay, our income is still $11,240. So we've got the $11,240 minus your expenses. That's your cash flow at the end of the month. And then the home equity line of credit interest, what I did is I took the balance of that number of our home equity line of credit, our HELOC balance, and then what this is a 9.5% HELOC they've got. So I took this number times 9.5%, which is 0.095, and then divide it by 12, because the rate gives you a yearly rate, but we only want what we're going to pay each month. So that gives you how much you have to pay on your HELOC that month, which is this month is $240. So when you do this, you can put this in, and you can highlight, and you can grab, and you can just drag this all down, and it goes super fast. And what I did is when I drug this down, in 9 months, we've got that initial HELOC balance is paid off. It's paid down to $334. Okay, so at that point, now we're ready to go ahead and we can take out the next one. So what I did is, you can do this a couple different ways. I like going after the bigger percentage rates. So I took the $26,000. Now you've got enough money in your HELOC. You've got almost $48,000, $47,500. So you could take this one and maybe pay a little bit towards your auto loan, however you want to do it. But just for example's sake, I took this first auto loan. So what that is I added back into, so this went to 334, and I added back in the 20, what did I add in? 21,740. Why did I do that? Okay, sorry, I did the math on that, and as we get in here after 9 months, that's what would be left on this auto loan. So you pay in that for 9 months, you're gonna knock the principal down. So that's what's left is 21,740. I forgot I already did the math on that. So there's that. So put that in there, and we just run our numbers, calculate that down. Here we came up with a negative number on month 15. I should have put that number up there, so we're actually off by a month. I didn't notice that earlier, but for example's sake, that's still not the end of the world. And then it looks like here in month 16, I took, and that time I just used the entire, I didn't calculate it down. So we took worst case scenario here, like we'd never paid this auto loan down at all. And that one, I took the whole 37,550, which maybe will make up for this other month where it was negative. So 2 wrongs don't make a right, but we're close. So again, our home equity line of credit balance is up to about $31,000. We're putting all of our cash flow, and look what our expenses, each time we pay something off, our expenses go down, right? So this time we're going to pay off this second loan. So that means our expenses go down by its payment, $615. Okay, so it was $71.82. Now it went down to $65.67. So from there, we're putting more money into this machine. Just keeps snowballing. The whole effect keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and the more we pay off, the more we pay towards this home equity line of credit loan, and the whole thing just goes faster and faster. So Here we paid off $37,000 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. That's paid down to $38.94. So after that, we have basically paid off 2 cars, all the credit cards, and look at what we've already freed up in free cash flow now, $2,500. Okay, at this point, they said they want to attack the mortgage, so that's what we did next. We started going after the mortgage. You could do whatever you wanted at this point, but they seriously, they just wanted all debt out, gone, and I can totally understand that. So that's why we ran this scenario here. So then what we did at the end, our expenses are going to stay the same because we still have to pay our only debt payment now is our mortgage payment. So that we're no longer eliminating any payments because everything else here is completely gone. So what we're doing is I took a $45,000 chunk. So what we did is we took $45,000 from your home equity line of credit and made a big extra payment, dumped it right on the loan. Okay. And I've got another spreadsheet here. Again, I will put this on my website and you guys can have this one as well. But this one shows their loan amount was $440,000 at 5.8 for 30 years. I kind of had to backtrack because they didn't give me all these numbers, so I kind of made some of this stuff up. But I figured out it was about 2017 that they got into this loan. So if we go down to and they told me that each year that they made a $10,000 extra payment back here. So I did put those in too. So they did make a couple payments up front, which is great to help knock that balance down. So I came in here around October 5th of 24, and so at this point the amortization schedule says that they owe $324,510. Okay, so what they did, and that then would be right here at about month 0 is when we're starting all this calculation. So before we actually make this $45,000 chunk, we're 23 months into it. Okay, so bringing that in, the first $45,000 chunk comes down here, 10/5. I just said it was 2 years from the start date. So 10/5 of 2026, they can make their first $45,000 chunk. And see what this does right here, taking the $45,000 chunk. This is your ending balance here. So it took the balance from 298 down to 252. Okay, when you do that, it's pure principal, and it'll start knocking this other loan down real fast. So back to our home equity line of credit. Now over here, what we're doing is we're just going to keep doing what we do. We do our velocity banking, and we take all of our free cash flow. We take all of our paychecks, all the money we get each month goes straight in towards our HELOC. Our expenses come out at the end of the month. Our balance keeps getting knocked down by the difference of our cash flow, basically. So here you see down here, month 32 into 33, we're ready for another $45,000 chunk. All right, so if we do that, you'll see right here, we're ready for another $45,000 chunk. Put that against the mortgage, and that drastically reduces the time that you pay, reduces everything. Okay, let's see. We started this in 2017, so plus 30. This should be done in 2047. Okay, each time that we take a $45,000 chunk, and then we go back and we pay it off. Okay, against our home equity line of credit. Chunk another $45,000 towards our mortgage. We go back in. We keep making our minimum payments over here. They're still $25, $85, $84 basically. And so we still have to continue to make these monthly payments, which is still knocking down that principal. But then we're also putting all of our free cash flow against that HELOC loan. So again, another $45,000. The HELOC loan knocks it down, another 45, and boom, right here. What did we say that was going to be 2047? We knocked off 17 years by doing like this. So in 2030, they will be completely out of debt. All right. So this little spreadsheet, I love this spreadsheet. You can just make a bunch of, you can play around with it a bunch and see, if I put a lot down now versus later, and you can just do a bunch of different scenarios with it. So back over here to this spreadsheet, you can see 70 months from when we started, we are out of debt. That is 5 years and 9 to 10 months. Somewhere between 60 months that's 5 years. So we're between the 9th and 10th month, somewhere in there, we are completely out of debt. Okay. That was $418,000 of debt gone in just over 5 years. Okay. So now you get to sit back and you get to think, in 5 years, I'm going to have $5,000 a month, and I owe nothing. I don't owe anything to anybody. Maybe by that time you're going to be ready for another car. What if you just put this money into savings? If you could save $5,000 a month in 5 to 10 months, I mean, you're going to have you got enough money for a very nice car that you can walk down and you can pay cash with. And this is where, in my mind, it all feeds right in perfectly to the infinite banking concept. So I will make my next video on the infinite banking concept, which is I've graduated from the velocity banking, and now we're getting into the infinite banking. So velocity banking is more of you use a debt tool, and the infinite banking is now you're using a wealth tool, and you are the bank. And that's where things, to me, really, really, really get cool. So part 2, or my next video will be coming up, and I'll title it something like that. And hope you watch that one. And now we're gonna really figure out how to start making some money here. Good luck, and let's keep going.